Olympians, astronauts, and merchants of all persuasions. I am very excited. Moonlighter 2 comes out very soon, and I have always loved the original. From the Legend of Zelda-like combat to the simple, joyous fun of overpricing items and watching people blow a gasket and have to take out loans to buy them, creating a monopoly in this small town, Moonlighter is just one of my favorite games of all time. We're going to conduct a deep dive into each of the dungeons of the game, explore enemy and environment designs, lore documents, and item descriptions to weave the tale of Moonlighter and how this world is destined to crumble by our very hand. Bundle up, Buttercup. Let's explore what Moonlighter has to offer. For those of you who have never played, this game is about Will, the last member of his family, running an old shop and selling wares found in the local dungeon. Throughout the game, you can invite new people into the town, upgrade your shop, get filthy rich, and retire to the beach where you can sip on your menagerie of strange cocktails and expensive liqueurs. The gameplay loop consists of 4 steps. 1. Battle out a dungeon, grabbing loot as you go. 2. Go back to town and sell that loot to buy upgrades. 3. Repeat until you beat the boss and grab one of the keys to unlock the 5th dungeon room in the middle. 4. Profit. Simple, huh? The simplicity of the game makes it very relaxing, but it does make it lose that edge that a lot of other roguelikes gain from complexity. Look at Hades, for example. You could play Hades for 100 hours and still not know every interaction between every god, every line of dialogue. Hell, I beat that whole game without ever realizing you can get a support call from your friends. Or look at Risk of Rain 2. That game is insane with all of the knowledge that you can put to use. Moonlighter just simply doesn't have that complexity. But that's okay. It's okay because the simple action in the game is fun. With how quick you can jump into the game and understand it, the game becomes very satisfying as you quickly acquire upgrades, swords, bows, and armor that turns you into a swift, agile swashbuckler or a huge, tanky warrior. My favorite part of this game, though, is the environments and storytelling within the environments. Each world you visit feels alive in its own unique way. Let's explore the first dungeon of the game, the Golem Dungeon. The light blue tiling and labyrinthine walls give off a feeling of overwhelming pressure and rigidity. These halls are very obviously man-made, or at least creature-made. It feels almost like the stronghold from Minecraft, with this sense that this place was used for something dark or even mysterious. The enemies of this dungeon, like the name gives away, are robotic golems that are automatically set to kill any intruders. They wield magical water, huge swords. Judging by some of the items you find in this dungeon, it seems as if they were built here by a society of people, or one person. Either way, this architecture is alien to anyone or anything that we see in the village. The only thing we see that has some kind of similar build is the thousands of swords, broken and unusable, on the ground that seem to have been made by the local blacksmith. A testament to how many adventurers lost their lives here, searching for gold and glory. As we make it further into the dungeon, we see less and less of the swords scattered on the ground, and much more volatile enemies. It's clear that barely anyone has gone this far. This is only the first dungeon in the game. Certain items also give us clues as to what's happening here. The presence of the chisel seems to imply that these golems were crafted down here, which means their creators were down here as well. In Jewish folklore, golems were protectors, constructed and given life through prayer and worship, and most importantly, by human design. These golems were created by a people, same as the very halls we walk in. Eventually, we make our way down to the furthest reaches of the Golem Dungeon, where we find the Golem King, a being halfway submerged into the ground, vines and goo surrounding him, trapping him, blocking him from even moving. This fight is pretty pathetic, as he tries to reach up and stop us in any way. Fists, boulders, even using that red goo arm to try to cahoot us, but his attempts are in vain. Call me Patrick Swayze, cause these rocks are getting molded. Behind him, a massive amount of golem literature, something we've only been getting pieces of till now, wait for us to collect. The literature tells us a little bit more about the history of the Golem Dungeon. It states that the golems were constructed by another race of people who built the golems using the very earth and dirt itself. They managed to power these golems by inserting energy crystals, which are most likely the crystallized energy item that we've been collecting all over the place. These golems seem to have been created for protection, shielding their creators from some unknown plight. In the Golem King jottings, we see that the Golem King was constructed using the very largest energy crystal, and was forced to protect his creators. Interestingly enough, we can find Golem schematics, and on the third and final schematic, it talks of inserting the power source into the Golem. But conveniently, the part that details how it fuses into their form is crossed out. All that aside, one question remains. Who did these creators need protecting from? An answer that we will not find here in the Golem Dungeon. Cahooting the Golem King makes the town confident enough to reopen the Forest Dungeon, and it has a completely different feel to the Golem Dungeon. Actually organic, albeit very alien, creatures stalk you from the brush, waving their wind whips and strange appendages at you. This world has much less of the mystery element from the first, but there is still significant meaning to a lot of the items and creature design. The first and second mini-bosses of this dungeon are large mutated trees that fling fruit and attack with their roots. The spinning cap enemy is literally a mushroom cap that spins to try to hit you. It seems as though this forest itself is alive, twisting and contorting to keep us out. Life fluid can be dropped from almost every enemy, and the description reads as thus: a fluid that appears to animate and give life to regular plants. Please note, keep away from the Venus flytrap. That description holds true when you look at the enemies of this region. The spinning mushroom, the cedar, the fruit turret. Almost every enemy seems to have some sort of connection to plants coming to life. The boss of this forest region is a huge plant known as Carnivorous Mutae, and that name holds a lot of significance. Carnivorous is the obvious part. This plant eats meat. But what meat, you may ask? So far, the closest thing this forest has given us to meat are these cute little forest sprites that fling gunk and wind at us. But that really doesn't feel right. If these were supposed to be animals, then they would look a little bit more, well, animal-y. Instead, we are the only real sources of meat for this creature. Us and, well, whoever came before us. But if that's the case, then where are the people that fed this creature before us? What about the word mutae, as in mutation? In the forest history books we get from Cahooting Mutae, it talks of a people who were obsessed with LF1 and wanted to use it to massively reproduce plants to feed their starving world. This LF1 is most likely the life fluid we've been finding all over the place in the forest dungeon. After using LF1, forests sprang up all around their dying world. But the forests never stopped growing. Mutae, a creature they created with the effort of making a plant that could feed an entire city, grew angry and cahooted a bunch of people. Seeing the people that tried to domesticate it and demand more and more, eventually, she reached a breaking point. We can put a stop to Mutae's rampage by introducing her to our little friend, and with Mutae behind us and more questions on our belt, the town wants to open up the Desert Dungeon. The Desert Dungeon, my personal favorite, is rough and daunting, with large sandstone walls and endless lakes of lava. When you walk into a room with a chest in it, the locking mechanism of the door activates, pouring this lava all over it. The walls are covered in inlets that let lava flow all around the room and into every chamber we visit, even ones that don't have lava as a trap. This implies a greater relationship to the lava found here, as it is somewhat magical. The creatures of this region all have fire abilities, be it from the puppets that spew fireballs at you, or the rolling blocks that fling lava pits, or literally any other creature here. In one of the rooms you can find on your adventures through this dungeon, you can learn that lava powers this dungeon like electricity, allowing all of these creatures to move. It seems to be, once again, an energy source that gives life, and in this case, magic, to creatures. Speaking of creatures, what exactly are the puppets? There are 3 variants: the fire puppet, the bard puppet, and the magician puppet. Given the name puppet, these creatures are very likely toys or ritual pieces that were given life by the lava, which allowed it to wield flame to fight back. But the presence of puppets hints at a deeper meaning, that a society here was entrenched in spiritual practices. In one of the history books you can find in the dungeon, it speaks of 3 suns coming to this land, completely drying it out, and only producing 2 days of darkness a year. The society that lived here worshipped them as godly beings, known as the 3 Sisters, and used their gifts of lava to give life to their machines, protecting them from the dangers of the night. 3 sisters that represent the power of fire come to this land to rule over it as gods. 3 variations of puppets, each with different fire abilities. The puppets represent the 3 sisters and were used in prayer to them. But the puppets and blocks were not enough. No, for those darkest days, this society constructed the nausea, a giant snake-like automaton that is of the 3 suns. So somehow this society actually managed to capture the essence of the suns and put it inside the nausea? What does that even mean? Well, to understand, let us look at where the nausea gets its name, the Naga. There are many mythologies that speak of the Naga, but there is one that holds very accurate when we compare them with the nausea. In Hinduism, the Naga are half-human, half-cobra protectors of mortal beings, and are typically associated with water and treasure. Treasure rings true, but what about the water element? While there is no water in these dungeons, you could equate the lava that gave power to the machinery in the desert as a sort of lifeblood for this culture, and as such, the lifeblood of humans, water. Furthermore, the Nagas are spiritually commanded to fight only the truly evil, or those destined to die early. But this is important how it relates to the nausea, because this nausea is attacking us, meaning that we are viewed as one of these 2. And it is most likely not the latter, as there is no evidence to support it, meaning that this nausea, and moreover the 3 sisters, view us as truly evil. In Hinduism, the Naga was created by Brahma, the being who was responsible for creating the earth and everything in it, similar to how the 3 sisters created this life-giving lava for the people of the desert. Brahma is depicted as a being with 4 faces, which immediately throws off this 3 sisters connection idea. But however, my dear merchant, you are forgetting the idea that the nausea was created from the suns. The nausea jotting specifically state that the nausea came from the 3 suns, meaning that this nausea is somewhat of a 4th being in addition to the 3 suns, creating a series of 4 godlike beings that gave birth to this new lava-powered world. 3 that watched from the sidelines, and 1 that protected it up front. It is also important to note that in Greek mythology, the 3 sisters are a group of beings that control destiny, which is tied to the Hindu interpretation of the Naga only biting those destined to die prematurely. Whichever interpretation you want to take of the story, it seems as though the Naga was a protector to its people. It's a complete story, something that we really haven't gotten so far. But if this is the full story, then why is it that we don't find any people in this desert? We don't even so much as have a conversation with any of the creatures that we are saying lived and thrived here. where could they possibly have gone? For the third time now, the game just doesn't tell us. And as we defeat the nausea, collect our spoils, and move onwards, we are left with even more questions. But that's not going to stop us. We are going to piece this story together bit by bit. Only way to go is forward, baby. So with a feather in our cap and our boots on tight, we dive headfirst into the technology dungeon. The tech dungeon is the outlier of every dungeon we've seen so far, with basically zero organic life. The only life down here are these machines that spit violent electricity that is extremely harmful to us. The ground is covered in water, sparking with electricity. Similar to the Golem dungeon, it looks like this place has darker intention, one that threatens all who venture into its depths. These creatures, being machines powered by electricity, seems like it's sort of a nod to us, the player. We have given life to machinery in the very same way that this culture has, through the use of electricity, programming, and AI. Now, just like with all the other cultures, here they are trying to kill us for burdening them with life and all of its woes. Each of these monsters have very specific purposes, like the Recharger, who revives enemies, or the Tech Turret, who blasts you from afar. These enemies have deadly synergy with each other, locking you in corners from afar as they approach. Even so, these creatures don't seem to be warriors. They weren't meant to protect. If so, then the builder would have made them of a more resilient glass, harder metals, or with shields and weapons. They would also not make certain enemies explode and damage other machines if this was their purpose. The big boss of this dungeon is a huge rolling orb of electricity known simply as the energy flux, which literally just means the rate of energy transfer over a surface. It is just electricity. What is the true purpose of all of these machines? The lore books we find tell us that the people native to the tech dungeon found a way to contain and use magic, revealing what this electricity actually is: pure and utter magic. The weirdest part of it, though, like with the desert, there doesn't seem to be anyone here. It's devoid of the entities of the people who built the machines. There must be some other group here, one that came and wiped out the people of all of these dungeons. But who could they possibly be? The energy flux gets suspended, and we grab the last key to open the fifth door. But what could be beyond it? Is there an answer for all of our questions? Well, yes and no. Behind the door is a huge scientific-looking room, with tubes and panels. Computers with logs line the edges of the room. However, this room is filled with corpses. Reading the logs, we can get a better idea of what's happening here.
Reports indicate to the Watcher on our trail. We may have to seal ourselves away to mask our signal. We have been forced to enact Operation Lock the Door. The minion is to shut us in using 4 keys. It will then hide those until the Watchers stop looking for us in this sector. We predict a month should be an adequate amount of time to lose them. Escape from this tomb seems to be fading away as a possibility. 3 months going now. Our soldiers had to put an end to some of the riots last week. We have to find a way to escape. This is getting out of hand. Several co-workers went mad and were instantly killed by the soldiers. 2 problems solved with 1 solution: the riots and lack of food.
And with that, we learn these creatures were done in by starvation and turning on each other. These creatures that brought all of these different worlds together to collect a vast amount of resources were done in by lack of resources, simply because they were too scared of the consequences of their actions. In the next room, we learn that these creatures are simple pirates who pillaged, cahooted, and sold every aspect of others' culture. Sound familiar? We find the last one of these creatures in the next room, ready to cahoot us as it is cahooted again and again and again for its entire existence. We can narrowly beat it, but not before the dimensional watch mentioned in the pirate's notes takes wind of our presence and almost closes off the dungeon with us in it. They decide not to prosecute us because we cahooted the last pirate. The dungeons are sealed off, and everything goes back to normal. Moonlighter is a story about consequences. It is about the destruction of life by forceful conquest, about the folly of searching for wealth. You amass a bag, bigger and bigger the more you go through the dungeons, but there reaches a point in the game where you can't buy anything else. Your money has nowhere else to go, except get bigger and bigger and bigger. Just a number correlating with the associated save file. The pirates did this, and it screwed them. An organization so unbelievably powerful hunted them down to near extinction. And it almost did the same to us. Each dungeon tells a tale of overeager achievement leading to downfall by larger, bigger entities catching wind and getting a piece for themselves. Each culture made significant technological advancement. Living dirt, animate plants, godly beings, captured magic. And each one only invited strife. But in essence, so did the pirates. They progressed too far by revolutionizing pillaging into the dungeons themselves, making it easy to get a bunch of artifacts fast, which, in turn, caused them to have to lock themselves away to get away from the Dimensional Watch, similar to the people in the dungeons. We did the exact same thing the pirates did. We ventured off into these parallel dimensions and pillaged them to our content, using their culture to get a better sword, or get a better bow, only to cahoot more of them. In a way, we ourselves are overeager in our pursuit. In that way, the words the old man say to us at the end of the game tie the story together. Next time, though, can you please just heed my advice and stay home? This is just too much excitement for my old bones.